Hey y'all, Daniel Aaron here, your guide to vibrant living and Facebook Live Mini. I got a request or question from a client, and part of it was like this. I've been just beaten down. I think these were the phrase used. I feel like I've been beaten down. There've been a lot of blows, and I don't know exactly what it meant, but criticism, attacks, challenges, pains, which is a sign in some way that we're alive, right? That's part of life. And brought two things to mind for me. One is, y'all may know already, the process of tempering. Well, there's one kind of tempering, which is in chocolate production, which is heating the chocolate to just the right amount and then bringing it down. And doing that repeatedly creates a certain texture and a certain coloring to it. So it's actually controlled increases to the temperature, taking it out of its normal environment. So that's one type of tempering. More germane and interesting for us right now is tempering as in the art of creating a samurai sword. And in that process, what happens is you take the metal, heat it up, and then a swordsmith pounds on that metal. And it's fascinating that in the pounding, which you would think the pounding would diminish it, actually the pounding makes it stronger. And the best swords are ones that have been tempered and tempered and tempered, right? So we all know the old expression, that which doesn't kill us makes us stronger. Yes, that's true. And here's an experience I had some years ago. And I won't go into much detail because it's a Facebook Live Mini. I was just on the verge of leading a teacher training. I had a group of about 60, 70 people, including staff, who were all depending on me. The day before I was to go into it, I had an extremely difficult, unpleasant situation occur, a big loss in my life, and I felt like I was wiped out. The language I used then is I felt like a pool of piss on the ground, just completely. And the thing that came to me was like, how on earth could I possibly lead anybody? I've got nothing. I feel weak. I feel impotent. I feel like I've got no power, no ability. I can't lead myself. I can barely get up. Of course, those of you that teach, those of you that are parents, know that one of the most beautiful things about being in a role like that is, well, the show must go on. The job must be done. People are counting on me. So whether I feel good, whether I feel worthy, that's secondary. People are here and I must deliver for them best I can. It doesn't mean that I fake it or am not true to myself. It's just that when I step into that role, into the teaching room, I leave my challenges and my problems behind. Nonetheless, I thought to myself, how on earth can I do this? And what I found was actually that because of the experience I had, another way of describing it is I was ripped open. My heart was pulled apart. I felt demolished inside, right? And my first reaction to that was like, I got nothing. And that was actually what was so beautiful about it. Because when I stepped in front of first my staff, and then when I stepped in front of the group that I was leading, not only did I have nothing, I had opened. I was raw. And so when people came and they presented their challenges and we worked together, part of what I had was transparency. I had the ability to be with them in ways I'd never had before. In another way of saying it is my ego got beat, got tempered, and was in some ways out of the way. I was more vulnerable. The Course in Miracles says, it is in our vulnerability that our power lies. And we often think of vulnerability like, oh, I don't want to be vulnerable because then I'm weak. But it's actually the opposite. It's so cool, right? And, for me, there's the expression, somebody's a recovering Catholic. Well, I am a recovering perfectionist. A recovering perfectionist, part of what that means is that I used to try so hard to keep it all together, to keep everything organized, to present myself as knowledgeable and like I had it all worked out. And part of what that left me is slick. It left me as in nothing to catch on to. And I love this analogy that it is our rough edges, it is our weaknesses, it is our vulnerabilities that is like Velcro. And Velcro gives us something to grab onto, to catch onto with others. It's Velcro that allows connection with other people. So, bringing it around, Facebook Live Mini got a little bit longer. Those times when we are beaten down, when we feel beaten down, when we feel depleted, right? Not that I'm suggesting we want to go out and create those experiences, but you know what? Let's be honest about it. That's part of life sometimes. And that's part of how we create Velcro, we create rough edges. It's part of how we get tempered. And it's part of how we get opened so that we can experience more of life, more of other people. It gives us the ability to be with ourselves, with life, with others more, right? And I know it's challenging. I've been there. And if we breathe through it and allow ourselves to be in that, wow, I'm wiped out, then there is space for a new power, a new level of love to come. All right. Enough said for now. I hope that's helpful. Thank you for being interested in creating vibrant lives. I love you, and I'll see you.